think if we want to live in a world where there are ethics, then it has to start with the way we raise our children. There are millions of children around the world who right now are playing video games where they get to blow away the bad guy. And they get sensual pleasure from doing this. There are children addicted to these video games. So already there's an enormous problem where ethics are being taught to our children through computer games where there's blood and guts, guns and knives, and we hope to live in a beautiful, peaceful world, and yet here we are letting our children do this. And they're enjoying it. So there's a start to living in a world where we might have some ethics. There's another problem I see in regards to raising children, and this is in regards to Christianity and the celebration of Christmas. When a Christian child is first born, they're introduced to Santa Claus, and they believe in Santa Claus, and they look forward to Christmas time and all these presents that Santa Claus is going to bring. And there are millions and millions of children, very young children, who are absolutely convinced that Santa Claus is going to come on Christmas Eve and bring all these presents. I know I did. And so here's a good start to living in a world with ethics, is to stop the hypocrisy. So why is that hypocritical? Eventually, as that young child starts growing, the Christian child, they will be told that Santa Claus is not real. And this is what happened to me and many of my friends. So what do these young children do? They go home to their parents and say, "Hey, little Johnny told me that Santa Claus isn't real, but that's not true, right, Mommy and Daddy?" And so what normally happens? Mommy and Daddy will sit the child down and say, "Yes, you're now old enough to know that Santa Claus isn't really true." So what does that have to do with ethics? Well, what's one of the first things that a little child learns through this? They learn from their own parents that it's okay to lie and string people along with something that's not true. A very profound, important, amazing lesson is taught to these children in ethics. They now realize that the world they live in is full of hypocrisy and lies, and it's okay to do that. Think about it, it's true. So further on that same topic, these Christian children and their parents then go to church where they listen to a priest or a pope or a bishop or a minister tell them from the pulpit that liars will not inherit the kingdom of God. And so here we have these billions of little children going home finding out that, yeah, it's okay to lie and tell stories about a Santa Claus that's not real, and then go to church and be told that, hey, liars won't inherit the kingdom of God. So now, which one's right? And why aren't these ministers and priests and fathers teaching these parents that, you know what, you really shouldn't teach these little children something that's not true, and then have them believe it's okay to do? So there's a big problem with ethics in the world, and it starts right with tiny little 3, 4, 5, 6-year-old kids. So you've got a big job, Davos. So further on this hypocrisy, these priests and ministers and clergymen will say that liars will not inherit the kingdom of God, and yet, on the other hand, they seem to encourage all the things that happen at Christmas. So here's another hypocrisy. Why don't they say anything? They're afraid to lose their congregations. They'd rather their congregations teach these tiny little children that it's okay to lie and maintain the hypocrisy by standing at the pulpit and saying liars will not inherit the kingdom of God. This is the world of ethics that we live in. It's frightening. For a tiny little Christian child, what a frightening world to be exposed to. They're learning about how the world works. And as a little child, they must be dismayed. Now, on the other hand, these tiny little children who see the hypocrisy get these incredible Christmas presents which are under the tree. And so even though they can see the hypocrisy and the lies, they're bought off. They've learned all about hush money. They're learning perfectly how this world works. You want ethics, Davos? You've got to start right at the beginning with these little children.